Hello, I'm Lynne Franks and welcome to Frankly Speaking with Lynne Franks and Friends. In today's episode, I am joined by my friend, the extraordinarily brave Afraa Hashem, a Syrian women activist, community leader, human rights defender, teacher, and mother. This is her story. Before we begin with today's episode, however, I'm going to give a trigger and content warning. This episode does contain descriptions of violence, sexual harassment, and traumatic events that some people may find disturbing. Hello, and welcome to Frankly Speaking with Lynne Franks and Friends. Today, I am really honoured to have a very good friend of mine who I haven't spoken to for a little while, Afraa Hashem, with me on this podcast. It is truly an honor. Afraa, welcome. So I was just remembering the first time we met, it seemed, well, the only time we met actually in person, was March the 8th, was International Women's Day 2020. I thought it was 2019, 2020. You know, all this COVID thing, the years just flow. Yeah. And you came down to visit me in this funny little town I live in, Wincanton in Somerset, because every year on International Women's Day, pre-COVID, we would always have a very special women's themed film that we would show. And we decided we wanted to show for summer the film which you are featured in, made by your very good friend, Waad Al-Kataeb. And we were so fortunate through somebody who knew your producer to tell us that you were over just really for the film, because you were over as part of the award ceremony, the BAFTA award the movie got, and you were there as part of the group receiving the award from Prince William, and you just come temporarily, and then you got stuck here and now you're here. And you came down and you told your story to the women and the men who were here that night, who saw the movie with us, which is a very harrowing movie, I have to say, award-winning all over the world. I've just been checking out since I saw you how many awards for Summer has won. And it, of course, told the story of Waad, your friend, through her eyes and through her camera, of the story of Aleppo, where you lived. So let's talk about your stories particularly, because you have been a women leader in your community. Well, forever, probably, I'm sure. You were a teacher. Tell me about your story, let's say, back in Aleppo, when all the troubles started.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Afraa Hashem. I was born and raised in Aleppo city in Syria, which is the city in the northern Syria, until the forcibly displacement in late of December 2016. Before the revolution, I was a teacher and mother of two sons. I like my normal life. I was spending all my time with children and with students in my school, and then and besides my children were with me even in my school too. So when the revolution started and the peaceful movement started, I joined to these groups because I believe in freedom, dignity, social justice, and liberty. And then I chose to become an activist. So I had to strike a balance between my duties as an activist and my responsibilities as a mother. In 2012, then the Syrian regime started to use gun to defeat us in the peaceful movement. And then from 2011, 2012, we were just participated in peaceful movement. In July 2012, Free Syrian Army started to appear and to control with half of Aleppo. So I was being arrested in September 2012, and then I moved to live in this rebel zone because I don't want to be arrested again. So, and when I stayed here, I discovered that all the schools were completely closed, and the students are dropping out of school. So in that time, I decided to open the first school in my neighborhood, and it was a normal building because the schools were completely destroyed, bombed. So I started from school contained from, I remember that 150 students, and then this school became a series of schools. Of course, I wasn't alone. I have a team, my sister, my husband, my friends, and then these schools became 5 schools and 5 centers for psychological support for the children, and even 5 centers for empowerment for the women in my city.
That's incredible. I never knew this. You never told me this. This is unbelievable. Well, it is
So
believable. You're
I
amazing.
became later a member of the local council, in the Ripple local council in my city, and became somehow famous in my community because as a leader woman. And we were friends in 2013. We became friends, and she paid me a visit in my school. She wanted
with
to make
Waad, you mean with Waad? You're talking
Waad, yeah, Waad Al-Kataeb.
Sorry, yeah.
And she was just planning to make a report about empowerment women, empower women, and then she took footage and some videos, and then
she started on her phone, didn't she? She was filming on her phone.
That time in 2013 she was have a camera, but before that she was having phone. And day by day we became very close friends, and she used to film me from 2014, 2016, my daily life with my family, my little daughter and my 2 sons, and even in the shops, in the streets. So in that time we didn't expect that we're gonna make this videos like film. We just want to document every moment, and she wanted to document her daily life. And even after the displacement, she told me that I'm thinking of making a film. I told her, yeah, you have to do that because we don't want our story to be disappeared. And then she told me, I'm gonna make a film about you and your family. I told her, no, you have to document your story.
And would you have thought this film, it's won an Emmy, a BAFTA, it's won Cannes Film Festival. I mean, it's incredible. There you were in your world in Aleppo, just surviving every day and creating these fantastic situations for children and women's empowerment. And this movie gets made in the basements and the ruins of the city that has gone out around the world. How important is storytelling?
Yeah, and that time I just wanted to document. Yeah, after that, when she started to make the film, I thought that yes, someone should listen, should hear our voice, our real story. Maybe we can save the rest. But after the first screen of the film, and I received a lot of messages that a lot of people didn't know about our story, our case. So they became very sorry, and they want to support us. In that time, I was suffering from depression because after the forcibly displacement, and I was very guilty in that time because why I survived and my family my friends couldn't. Why I still alive and my friends couldn't? So that's the feeling of guilty, not me. Most of the survivors had the same feeling. So
at this time, let me just stop you here. So at this time, you were still in Syria at this point, or had you moved to Turkey with your family?
Then I moved to Turkey. My family.
So let's stay in Syria for a minute. So you continued on as a woman leader, running these schools, and with your team doing incredible things for the community. You got arrested a second time, and like all the women that got arrested, you suffered abuse by the regime, by the soldiers of the regime.
Most of them, suffered from sexual harassment or abuse. and even that from hitting the psychological
Yeah, the
abuse
psychological effects, yes.
is
And you had a miscarriage at that time as well.
yeah, yeah.
Very, because of being arrested.
That time I couldn't speak about my experience because you know that our society somehow I don't know the victim blame. No, I don't mean
No,
that.
it's blaming the women.
Yeah, but
it's a victim blame.
Some
Terrible.
people blame. And I heard some notes, some comments that you have to be at your home, you have to look after your children, and this is not your work. I heard that 100 times. But my husband was very supporter, and he told me that we are doing very well and we are doing what we believe in. So don't just ignore them.
Yeah,
But
and you were telling me the second time you got arrested, they let you phone your.
I was pregnant with Naya. First time in the beginning of 2011, I was pregnant, but I lost my baby because they hitting me. And then second time it was in 2012. It was in September. I remember it was on 4 or 5 September. I'm not sure, but I'm real. It was in September.
Yeah.
And I was pregnant with my little daughter, Naya. I had the bad experience, previous experience, because I know that I lost my baby because of the hitting. I told them all the time, please don't hit me in my tummy. I'm pregnant, please. I was begging them. But when I asked them to give me my phone to call my husband to tell him, because when I was arrested, I was in, the bus transportation with my friend. And then they told me they stopped the bus, and the soldiers come to the bus and ask everyone to give him their ID. And when I gave them my ID, they put the weapons in my bag, and they told me, get out of the car, of the bus, we want you. And then they stopped a civilian car. I remember it was Kia white, the color, it was white. And they take it from the driver, the owner, and they put me in this car, and they just hitting me. And suddenly, I don't know where we took me. And then when I arrived to the center, they told me that you are a terrorist, and you are supporting the enemy because you are working as a nurse in the hospital. So because I was working in field hospital, I was arrested.
Unbelievable.
So I told them, no, I didn't do that. I am normal woman. I just I was going to buy fruit and vegetables from shops to come back to my home. I don't work that. And then they took me to a small room and put something in my eyes and start asking me questions about how my life, my family, members of my family. And then I mentioned my husband, please give me my phone just to let him know where I am, because he thinking that I was going to another place, and now he will get worried about me. And they told me, yeah, madam, you can take your phone, give her phone, call him. When I spoke to my husband, I told him that I am, and they mentioned the place. I am in this place and you can come. They took me from, it is a place in my city. You can go to there to come to see me. And then my husband, he was in his job. They took me from my phone and then cut the line, and they told me, yeah, we want him to come because we want to arrest him to arrest him with you.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And suddenly after 1 hour, I heard my husband's voice and my friend who was, she was with me, beside me in the bus. They took both of them and they told them, we want to arrest you to just tell everything about Afraa, and then we're gonna be released. So they gave to my friend, gave her like list that I am doing tourist things, and you have to sign and say, yeah, this is Afraa, she's doing like this. And that time I was, my family know that I was arrested, me and my husband, and it was very horrible to my family because I am a woman, first of all. And they heard from the previous stories what's going on for the women to be raped or anything, and you know that. So they were planning to pay money in the same time to get us released. And then I was begging the officer, I want to say everything you want to do to me to say, but just give it my friends to be released, my friend to be released, because she's her family will be worried about her, and she's single, and in our society is it's very hard to married woman, how is for single woman. So I was begging him all the time, and then we got released after that. But I was suffering from pain in my tummy because from hitting. So my husband took me to hospitals, and the doctor told me that you will lose your baby. So I went to Turkey, and my family received me. And the journey from regime control to safe control, it was very horrible, because you all the time we were afraid we're gonna be arrested again after we are released. So 3 hours, I remember them, my children, my 2 sons were with me, and my husband, and even this my friend with me, and my sister. All the time, just we want to reach to the safe area, to not be arrested again.
The longest 3 hours of your life, I'm sure.
Yeah. And when I arrived, I remember that this is our culture. First thing I heard from the community, they were blaming me. You are the reason of that.
Oh my God.
Your husband lost his job because of you, and you don't have to go to participate in this peaceful movement, and even you don't have to work in hospitals as a nurse. You have to look after at your son, and you are like, like selfish. You don't care about your son.
Was this men and women saying this?
Yeah, men and women.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And then I went to Turkey to take my medicine and treatment. And then my husband came back to rebel zone, to Aleppo, for 2 months. And then when he came to visited me, I begged him, please, I want to go with you. I don't want to live here. And he told me, yeah, I'm coming to take you with me, because I know you can't stand this. And then when first time I arrived,
you went back into Aleppo?
Aleppo, but my neighborhood, but it was like, how can I explain? Like piece of cake. This is a rebel zone, and this is under the regime control. But my neighborhood was under the rebel control. So I went to this place, and I discovered that all the school was being bombed all the time this month, and so there were no schools, yeah, and no education. So I told my husband, I don't want to be like this, doing nothing. And I know and even in this place we can't just practice in peaceful movement, because nothing will change, but just to do this. So, and all the world were watching us and doing nothing. So we have to make something alternative. I started with the idea of the school. I remember that there was a school bombed, but there were snipers, not just one sniper, very close to this school, but I had to enter this school to take off the books. So I was pregnant, and I made like a hole between two schools, not me, and there were my friends were with me, and I was to escape. I had to escape this hole to collect all these books, put them in boxes.
My goodness me!
And take them. And it was, I remember that a lot of raids around me, and was scared.
You are such a warrior. You are a warrior woman, really.
And the sniper
so you
was
went through this hole with the snipers to get the books, to bring back, to start the school again, which you'd already done once and it had been destroyed by the regime.
Yeah. I had to do that for a week, every day.
Oh my god! On your own, or you had help?
Yeah. Just I was the only woman. And then when my sister arrived, after that a month, we started to cooperate together, and we did all of that together. And then this school became very famous, and the people started to open their schools in their neighborhoods. And then this school became 5 schools. In 2014, we started to study, me and my sister, to study psychological support. Why? Because there is no specialized in our city, in the whole city, and all the people, all the children, but especially children, were suffering from nightmares and from loneliness,
the fear.
Yeah,
and they must presumably they'd lost their parents.
So we can't stop this war planes,
bombs, because you had the sound every day of the drones, isn't it? Like the drones
every day, all the day.
Oh.
So we started to attend online training, and then we integrate this training with our education course to make psychosocial support through drawing, playing, and psychodrama. And then I established the first theater team from my students, and we started to make plays, drama.
All in the war zone, in the rubble, with the children.
In the rubble.
Incredible. And some of this is in the film, isn't it? A little bit of it, or is it not? A little bit of it was in the film.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we were waiting all the time for the ceasefire to make an activity to plant hope inside our students' hearts, because they have no places to go, nothing to entertain them. There's no TV, no electricity, no internet, nothing.
Of course not. No.
So you have to make something else to come back, flashback to the previous
to their happy times.
Yeah. So.
And how old were the children? All ages, or?
From 9 to 14. So.
Right. Yeah.
And then I lost the first student who was really hero. His name is Qusay. He was 14.
Oh.
And last year I lost another student. Yeah.
Who's still there?
They were here. They always dreamed to be famous actors, and unfortunately.
And they'd stayed in Syria, had they?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. So sorry. But presumably some of the children came out from Syria. Some of them came out on the.
Some of them now I recommunicate with my students that I could reach them, and made like groups to teach them English online through Zoom. And now I have 3 groups for children and 3 for adults.
Of people from the families that you were working with back in Aleppo. Now
yeah,
you're working with them again.
yeah. Some of them in the Syrian camps, and some of them are in Turkey, and some of them in Greece, in Holland, everywhere. So we reunited
You see,
again.
we don't get to hear. This is incredible. So let's just go back. So you at this point were on, because I've seen the movie, obviously, you were on that last bus, on that last group of people that left Aleppo when you could.
Yeah.
You left, Waad and her family left because her husband was a doctor that was running the last hospital. You and your family left, and you all came over to Turkey. Is that?
Yeah. When I arrived to Turkey in 2017, but I was working in Syria. So my children, my family in Gaziantep in Turkey, but I was moving between Syria.
You were going
Turkey.
backwards and forwards all the time.
All the time,
going back to Syria from Turkey.
Yeah, because this is my job, and this is what I found a job to stay remotely in Turkey, but I didn't like it.
And from the conversation we had before, the Syrian refugees, which you had become at that point, were not really welcome in Turkey. I mean, it was very difficult, from what I understand, to find homes, to find jobs. I mean, you haven't been welcome in many countries. My own country, the UK included.
That was the reason why I chose to come to London, to UK, because I want to my family, my children, to live a stable life. We were having just temporary residence, so we are. But
you were here first. You came over when the promotion of the film was happening, and then
I make the family. Yeah, I will take that about that.
And then how the children, your husband and the children, didn't come over for what, another 6 months or so? I remember.
10 months.
10 months must have been hell. You've had lots of hell.
I was with Waad and Hamza living in the same house. And then the pandemic and the lockdown started. That's why we take this long time. But our case was very clear, because I just, during a month and a half, I guaranteed my asylum. And it was exceptional asylum. I don't know, all my friends.
You had a lot of people working very hard for you, I know. And you got your asylum, which is, thank goodness. And I've been following your story on social media, because you post. And in fact, anybody who watches this can follow Afra's story. She's always posting on Instagram. And I saw when your family came and we were in contact, and your husband, how happy you were, and the children. And now the children are at British schools. How long have they been here now? A year?
No, just 6 months. They arrived in November 2020.
And how have they adapted to being here?
Now they started to have friends, and I taught them English, but they need practice more and more. And Naya, she's very young. Now
how old is Naya?
She turned 8. But and when she started school first time, she was crying all the time. I don't want to go. I don't know how to communicate with the people. I don't have friends. I don't understand everything they speak all the time. And then every day, when she come back from school, she told me, "This is the first day ever." Every day, first day ever.
Oh, lovely. And the boys, how old are the boys now?
Both of them are doing well. Zayn received several times report that he's doing good.
And how old is he? About 14?
He's 15. And Wissam is 16. And Wissam in secondary school, then in the year 10. And they like art. They are a good drawer.
Your husband's an artist as well.
Yeah, my husband too, and he's a calligrapher, so you can see.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
So the family are here for now. Life has changed enormously, but you are still a warrior. Will always be a warrior. Will always be a woman leader. I
started my master in Hull University.
You're doing your master in Hull University in
about education, TESOL, teaching English.
And where are you? You're living in London, though.
Yeah, but it's online because lockdown.
Everything's online.
Yeah. So
Perfect. So you don't have to live in
I wanted to take this period to study, and it's just 1 year. So at the end of this year, I will, finger crossed, will be graduated.
You'll have your MA. That's amazing, amazing. And you're still, as you say, teaching the young
Online.
people that you were working with in Syria, who are now all over the world on Zoom. And
yeah,
you're working...
and I had a lot of volunteers doing that, from British or American or Syrian. They are doing that voluntary. I really appreciate they work and their offer to support these people who are really need. I know that is nothing, but we have to do something.
It's not nothing.
That means that don't say that, what should I do? What can I do? You can do, if you can figure out your according to your situation, you can do anything to support the people who are in danger and in need. I use my Instagram to shed light on and my Facebook to the reality in my Syria. I was lucky to survive, but there are million of people who couldn't. Now we are almost more than 8 million refugees spreading all around the world. And some of us threatened to be sent again to the country, like happening in Denmark now. So I want to say that we didn't choose to be refugee. We want to be in our own house, our own country, our own heritage, but we can't because we're going to be arrested. So we are not here as tourists. We are seeking for stability, peace, to starting. As you see that during 1 year here, I could find my way to start, to study, for example. And then maybe after a year, I can work in this country and can support this country who granted my asylum and support me. So just give these people a chance to do something. Don't send them send them back to their country because they're gonna be victims. They're gonna be arrested, and I don't think that any of us can stand this, to be responsible of these victims. You couldn't. I'm speaking to the nations, not the nation, to the governments. You couldn't stop this war for 10 years. So don't push these people to come back to their country. So
it's terrible.
Don't let them down.
Yes, and I'm not proud of Britain not bringing in more displaced Syrians into this country, which they should have done. But anyway, what I do, so let's just stay with you, and then we're going to talk about what we can do. So your future is you're doing this MA, your children are settled in school. Of course, your wish would be to go back to your country, but not now, not until the regime changes, because you will face certain arrest and whatever comes with that. So I know that you told me you're speaking on a lot of panels now. You've become a spokesperson. As I said, you will always be a warrior and you will always be there as a fighter. And so you're now speaking wherever you can, on stories, telling your stories on panels, on podcasts, I'm sure, like mine. And I'm just so pleased to have you here as my friend to talk to about this terrible situation that's happened. And you're doing what you can online. And so the big picture, I mean, you just take it, I guess, time by time. The important thing is, how do you stay positive? You talked earlier about how you got depressed, how you felt guilty that you had survived and so many of your friends hadn't survived. And how did you come out of that depression? How did you get back to knowing that you have a purpose, and your purpose is to be this incredible leader that you are?
Because I always used to be full of hope. So I know that And sometimes even now our mood is up down, up down. You sometimes you feel that you achieve something, and a day you feel that you are worthless. So but I can't give up, because I have my friends, my family, who are still in need to my support. So I have to do anything. If I lost hope, uh, what about the detainees in the prison in Syria? Now we have more than 200,000 detainees in the Syrian prisons. Prisons. They need.
And how
They
many
are
of those are women? Do you know?
more. I don't know, but it's.
A lot.
I don't have the
Many.
normal
No. Figures.
the right numbers, but it's are more than 200,000 of detainees. They are waiting for their freedom.
Yeah.
So they did. I'm sure most of them maybe lost the hope, and maybe they died, and most of them they still have the hope, and they are waiting us to support him, to release him. So I always have a hope, because I don't want that Syrian regime saw me that I am weak. I'm not weak. I survived a lot from your ban, from your arrest, from everything, from your terrorists, and I will always be, as long as alive, defender of all the people's rights.
Yes, you will, and you will be alive many, 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 many years. For you have much work still to do, wherever that may be. And anyway, I feel, as I said, started off saying, I feel very humble, and I feel very fortunate that, you know, we're so spoilt in this country. We have no idea of the suffering that so many of you, or the difficulties, the challenges on a daily basis that you went through and survived and are here. And I guess the question for me is, what can we do to help? What can the people that listen to this podcast, what can the people in my seed community, what can I do? What is helpful?
Actually, I beside my anything we can, my private job or any activities, I'm working with Action for Sama campaign. You can visit our website www.actionforsama.com. You can contribute with any kind of help you want, you prefer. I think this campaign just shedding light on the bombing hospital, and make some campaigns, or even donation to support the hospital field, the healthcare field. So you can visit our website and choose what sort of.
I will type it out, put it out in the caption that goes with this podcast so everybody can see it. And you know, you always have me completely with you. And one of my plans, I don't know how, was to really help the women, the Syrian women who are still in the camps, because there clearly needs to be a lot of help, economic help that they need.
And if you want, I can reach you to some of them, and if you can, I can translate. I think
it would be very good for us to. I would really, really, really like to do that. We can work together, and we, if they have a phone, and we can talk to them, and we can. I mean, the other thing is that we had, in fact, the night you were here, we had some knitwear made by some of the women in the camps in Istanbul that we were selling in our shop, that they'd made simple hats, and it's complicated. It's not that easy, because they have to get the wool and then we have to bring them over here. I know it's not an easy situation, but maybe we can come up with an idea between us and with the friends we have that can help economically the women who really need to create some kind of income to feed the children. Whether we get them to do, you know, even scarves or anything, jewelry. I remember you had, I still have the Syria badge that you gave me. Something. We need to come up with an idea. If the two of us can't come up with an idea, I don't know who can. And we will talk off this podcast about that, and then we will come back to the community who are watching this. Those of you who listen or to this podcast or watch it on video on YouTube, please get in touch. We'll put all the details how to, apart from the website that already Afraa has given you the details of. If you'd like to be part of what we can do, Seed for Syria, let's start Seed for Syria. I've wanted to do it for so many years. I told you I was in Greece, I think 3 years ago, and I met some of the Syrian women refugees there who'd come over by water to Greece on their own with their children. We couldn't even speak the same language, but there was such love between us. And I think that's
Still communicates.
Yes, I mean, women have this way, even when we can't speak, I think women and men, but particularly women have this way of connecting through the eyes, through the heart, feeling the love and what we can be there and do for each other.
And that means a lot for us. Thank you so much for your support.
You have my complete support. The injustice makes me just want to sob, but sitting here crying doesn't help anybody. We have to have action. We have to have hope. We all have to be warriors. And I know people listening to this podcast will want to say, what can I do? What can I do? You know, I know that because we can create change. It will be by women. It will be at the grassroots level, and it will be conversations telling us or listening to your stories, hearing the voices that need to be heard, as you said, which is why the film, that Waad's film was just so important. But these conversations are also so important. I'm exhausted.
I want to tell you, I want to mention.
We've got so much to do. We've got so much to do.
I want to mention something. Maybe you will laugh. You gave me your coat, the red one.
I've thought about you in that red coat. I gave, for those of you listening, I had a beautiful red suede coat I never wore.
And you told me that it's when you wear it, you will feel that I'm seen. And every time I wear it, I'm seen. Like Lynne said.
You're seen. You are seen. It was so you. That coat was so meant to be for you. So I'm so glad you still wear it. It was useful. So now you've heard Afraa's harrowing story, how she and so many of her friends and so many members of her community have been displaced, how some have not made it out of Syria, how many millions and millions of Syrian families are now living away from their home. I asked her in the interview what kept her going, and she said hope. Hope as a mother, hope as a teacher, and hope as a community leader. So I'd like you to think perhaps of some of the issues you're struggling with right now. Have a quiet moment, maybe write simple one-liners down about your biggest challenges, and then fill your body with hope. Perhaps do a meditation, go into nature, and really step into that space of positive feeling. If Afraa can do what she's done and still doing, still teaching young Syrians all over the world, doing a degree, taking care of her family, and adjusting to a very different life here in the UK, then we can certainly do it in our communities too. If you are interested in supporting Afraa's activities, please visit www.actionforsummer, for summer is FORSAMA.com, or helprefugees.org, and find out what you can do to support some of these many wonderful displaced people who are here not through any fault of their own, and how we can really support them in their journey. Thank you so much for listening. Life is not always easy, wherever you are. But I believe that by women hearing each other's stories and coming together in community, we can make a positive difference. So I hope you've been inspired to action. Please do subscribe to this podcast, rate and review it. And also make sure, if you haven't already, to join our Seed Network, where together with thousands of like-minded women, you will make friends, you can promote your business, be inspired, and share your stories. Visit seednetwork.com to find out more. See you next time on Frankly Speaking with Lynne Franks and Friends. Bye.